The 1981 World Series was the championship series of Major League Baseball's 1981 season. The 78th edition of the World Series. It was a best-of-7 playoff played between the American League champion New York Yankees and the National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers. It marked their third meeting in the series in 5 years, as well as a record 11th series meeting overall and last series meeting to date. The Dodgers won the series in 6 games in a mirror image of the two teams' last 2 series meetings in 1977 and 1978. It was the Dodgers' first title since 1965, their first victory over the Yankees since 1963, and third World Series win over the Yankees. Overall, this is the last World Series that a team won after losing the first 2 games on the road. This also was the last meeting between teams from New York City and Los Angeles for a major professional sports championship until the Los Angeles Kings and New York Rangers reached the NHL's 2014 Stanley Cup Finals, and also the last meeting between the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series to date. The two teams have met 11 times in the World Series, making it the most frequent matchup in World Series history. Due to the players' strike, which ran from June 12 to August 8, the 1981 season was split into 2 halves, with the first-place teams from each half in each division or a wild-card team if the same club won both halves. Although this did not occur in any division meeting in the best-of-5 league division series, this division series was a one-off occasion. It was not until 1994 that the division series would be implemented on a permanent basis. The 4 survivors would then move on to the 2 best-of-5 league championship series. The expanded playoffs led to Game 1 of the World Series being pushed back to October 20th, the latest starting date for a fall classic up to that time. In the National League, the Dodgers led the National League West prior to the strike. The Houston Astros, however, won the second half division title. The Dodgers then defeated the Astros 3-2 in the National League Division Series before beating the Montreal Expos 3-2 in the National League Championship Series. The Yankees, who led the American League East in the season's first half, took on the Milwaukee Brewers, winners of the second half division title in the American League Division Series. New York was victorious 3-2, then went on to sweep the Oakland Athletics in the American League Championship Series. The split-season decision was not a popular one, both among teams and their fans. The arrangement resulted in teams with the best overall record in either their division or league that year, in particular the Cincinnati Reds, the Majors' best team with a record of 66-42, being left out of the postseason along with the St. Louis Cardinals, which led the NL East with an overall record of 59-43. Though the teams with the best record in the American League East and West did win their divisions, the Yankees finished 3rd overall in the AL East while the Kansas City Royals finished 4th overall with a losing 50-53 record. The Dodgers got to the series with help from Mexican-born rookie phenom Fernando Valenzuela, who won his first 8 games including 5 by shutout. Valenzuela would pitch 8 shutouts in all and win both the National League Rookie of the Year and Cy Young awards. Joining Valenzuela in the rotation were veterans Bert Houghton and Jerry Roos. The core of the position players remained intact with perennial All-Star Steve Garvey at first, Davey Lopes at second, Bill Russell at shortstop, and team leader in home runs with 13, Ronche at third. Budding star Pedro Guerrero would move to the outfield, becoming a regular starter for the first time in his career, in place of the aging and often injured Reggie Smith. Manager Tommy Lasorda was looking for his first World Series win in his 5th full season with the Dodgers after losing to the Yankees in 1977 and 1978. The Yankees, managed by Bob Lemon in his second stint, having replaced Gene Michael, had a losing second half but won the first half to qualify for the playoffs. Ace starter Ron Guidry won 11 games against while rookie Dave Righetti emerged as an important starter, winning 8 games with a 2.05 ERA. Righetti would win the American League Rookie of the Year award. Reliever Goose Gossage recorded 20 saves with an .77 ERA, striking out 48 in 47 innings. Dave Winfield was signed as a free agent in the offseason, joined another All-Star, Reggie Jackson, in the outfield. Winfield led the Yankees with 25 doubles and 68 RBIs. Winfield's huge contract, $22 million over 10 years, was added to an already strong lineup. While the Yankees boasted a well-balanced squad, the Dodgers were not to be denied their first World Series title in 16 years. The series commenced on October 20th, making it the latest start of the series, breaking the previous record by 3 days, the 1910 World Series. Bob Watson smashed a 3-run homer off Jerry Roos in the first to get the Yankees started. Lou Piniella chased Roos with an RBI single in the third, and Dodger reliever Bobby Castillo walked 4 batters in the fourth to give New York a 5-0 lead. Ron Guidry held the Dodgers to 4 hits and a run on the Steve Yeager homer through 7 innings. Ron Davis gave up 2 in the 8th by walking Darrell Thomas and Davey Lopes to lead off. After the walks, Davis was relieved by closer Goose Gossage, who gave up a pinch-hit RBI single to J. Johnstone and a sacrifice fly by Dusty Baker to score Thomas and Lopes, but Gossage closed out the win in the 9th. Yankee third baseman Greg Nettles suffered a hairline fracture of his left thumb when he made a diving stop. The injury caused him to miss games 3, 4, and 5, but he played in games 2 and 6. Former teammates Bert Houghton and Tommy John were locked in a scoreless duel until the 5th, when Larry Milburn doubled in Willie Randolph for the only run John would really need. The Yankees pushed across 2 more in the 8th off Steve Howe on the RBI single by Bob Watson and a sacrifice fly by Randolph. John pitched 7 shutout innings, and Goose Gossage closed for his second save in 2 games. Prior to this game, Yankee manager Bob Lemon sat Reggie Jackson. Jackson injured himself running the bases in Game 2 of the ALCS and missed the first 2 games of the World Series, but was medically cleared to play Game 3. Jackson was not even allowed to pinch hit. Lemon said he was resting Jackson as a precaution and because the Dodgers were starting a left-hand pitcher. NL Rookie of the Year, pitcher Fernando Valenzuela, lasted the entire game despite allowing 9 hits and walking 7 and constantly pitching out of trouble. He walked 2 Yankee batters in the first, but pitched out of it. Ron Che, meanwhile, provided him a 3-0 lead in the Dodger half with a 3-run homer off Dave Righetti. The Yankees cut it to 3-2 in the second on a Bob Watson homer and a Larry Milburn RBI single. Valenzuela stranded 2 runners in this inning. Rick Cerrone gave the Yanks a 4-3 lead in the third with a 2-run homer, but the Yankees left 2 on once again. Watson led off the 5th with a double, but no one scored as Valenzuela pitched out of it again. In both the 3rd and 5th innings, the Dodgers were helped by the Yankees, being unable to use a designated hitter. In both innings, Valenzuela issued 2 out-intentional walks to number 8 hitter Larry Milburn in order to pitch to Dave Righetti and George Frazier. Valenzuela struck out the pitchers both times. The Dodgers gave Valenzuela the lead back in the bottom of the 5th off Frazier when Pedro Guerrero doubled in Steve Garvey to tie it, and Chase scored on a double play grounder by Mike Soscha. With the lead and the Dodger Stadium crowd behind him, Valenzuela appeared to finally settle down. After pinch hitting, Valenzuela's regular catcher Mike Soscha took over behind the plate. This seemed to have a calming effect on the rookie, as Soscha knew Spanish and was better able to talk with Valenzuela than Steve Yeager. The Yankees mounted their final threat in the 8th when Aurelio Rodriguez and Milburn led off with back-to-back singles. Pinch hitter Bobby Mercer attempted a sacrifice bunt, but popped it foul. Jadovan caught it, then doubled Milburn off first. After being held out of Game 3, Reggie Jackson was back in the starting lineup for this game. The Yankees batters had early success against Dodgers pitcher Bob Welch, who faced 4 batters without recording an out before being relieved by Dave Goltz. Willie Randolph led the game off with a triple and scored on a Larry Milburn double. Dave Winfield walked and Jackson singled before Goltz gave up a sacrifice fly to Bob Watson. Randolph smashed a 2-out solo home run in the second and Rick Cerrone batted in the run with a single in the third for a 4-0 Yankee lead. Yankee starter Rick Rieschel then had problems of his own. He allowed an RBI single to Davey Lopes and an RBI ground out to Ron Che in the third before leaving in favor of Rudy May. May gave up a double to Steve Garvey and an RBI single to Che in the 5th, but the Yankees countered with 2 in the 6th on RBI singles by Oscar Gamble and Watson off Tom Niedenfuhr. With a 6th real lead, the Yankees turned the pitching over to their relief combination of Ron Davis and Goose Gossage. Davis had troubles in the 6th. He issued a 1-out walk to Mike Soscha and gave up a pinch-hit homer to J. Johnstone to make the score 6-5. Then, Lopes lifted a fly ball to right that Jackson lost in the sun and dropped for an error. Lopes reached second and stole third with no throw by catcher Cerrone 3 pitches later. Davis then gave up a game-tying single to Bill Russell. In the seventh, Dusty Baker led off with an infield hit off George Frazier and went to third on the Rick Mundy liner that got past center fielder Bobby Brown when he tried to make a shoestring catch. Mundy reached second. Pedro Guerrero was then walked intentionally. Yankee manager Bob Lemon then brought starting pitcher Tommy John out of the bullpen instead of Gossage. Steve Yeager, hitting for Soscha, promptly gave the Dodgers the lead when he drove home Baker with a sacrifice fly. Lopes followed with an infield single that drove Mundy home for an 8-6 lead. John managed to strand Guerrero in scoring position to end the seventh and pitch the last 2 innings, but closer Gossage never got in the game. Jackson brought the Yankees closer with a home run in the 8th off lefty Steve Howe, capping a 3-for-3 day. But Howe was able to close out the win, despite Willie Randolph pinning Dodger center fielder Darryl Thomas against the center field wall with a deep fly ball. The series was now tied 2-2. According to John Stone's book Temporary Insanity, Steinbrenner confronted Davis in the Yankees' locker room after the game and demanded, "Why did you throw John Stone a fastball?" Needing a win to stop the Dodgers' momentum in this series, the Yankees trotted out their ace, Ron Guidry. Guidry was sharp through 6 innings, holding the Dodgers to 2 singles. Reggie Jackson, continuing his torrid hitting, helped provide Guidry a lead by doubling to left in the second off Jerry Rouse, moving to third on a Davey Lopes error, and scoring on a Lupiniella infield single. The game then took a turn in the 7th inning. After fanning Dusty Baker, Guidry surrendered back-to-back solo home runs to Pedro Guerrero and Steve Yeager. After he had struck out, Baker suggested to Yeager and Guerrero that they move up in the batter's box to take away Guidry's late-breaking slider. Both home runs were hit on sliders almost to the same place in left center. Meanwhile, Bruce was as effective as Guidry, holding the Yanks to 5 hits and a lone run and going the distance. A tense moment occurred in the 8th when Goose Gossage beamed Ron Che. Che had to be helped off the field with a concussion, but was cleared to play Game 6 after it was delayed 1 day by rain. This was the latest ending World Series by calendar date up to that time. Originally scheduled for Tuesday, October 27th, Game 6 was delayed a day by rain. This allowed Bob Lemon to start Tommy John opposite Dodger starter Bert Hooton. This also allowed Ron Che to be in the Dodger lineup. Willie Randolph provided John an early lead with a solo homer in the 3rd. The Dodgers tied it in the 4th on an RBI single by Game 5 hero Steve Yeager. In the bottom of the 4th, Yankee manager Bob Lemon made a controversial decision. Greg Nettles led off the inning with a double. After Hooton retired the next 2 batters, he intentionally walked Larry Milburn to face John. Lemon pinch hit for his starting pitcher in the 4th inning of the 1-1 game. Pinch hitter Bobby Mercer flied out to end the inning. In his 1991 autobiography TJ My 26 Years in Baseball, John revealed that before the game, Lemon and team owner George Steinbrenner settled on the following strategy. Get the lead early and then protect it with the bullpen. As ABC cameras showed during the broadcast, John paced the Yankee dugout in disbelief after being pulled. In the 5th, George Frazier, who relieved John, gave up an RBI single to Ron Che and a 2-run triple to Pedro Guerrero. Frazier would take the loss and become the first pitcher to lose 3 games in a best-of-7 World Series and second pitcher to lose 3 times in any World Series. New York's bullpen further collapsed in the 6th. Ron Davis issued 1-out walks to pitcher Hooton and Davey Lopes. Bill Russell singled to short left field, and Hooton unexpectedly rounded 3rd and headed home. Dave Winfield stumbled on the wet grass, fell forward, and unhooked an errant throw. Hooton scored standing, after which Lemon pulled Davis in favor of Rick Rieschel. On Rieschel's second pitch, Lopes and Russell pulled a double steal. Rieschel walked Steve Garvey intentionally and gave up an RBI force out to pinch hitter Darryl Thomas. After Dusty Baker reached on an error by Nettles, loading the bases again, Guerrero singled in 2 more runs. The Yankees would score in the bottom of the 6th on a pinch hit RBI single by Lupiniella. Guerrero would cap a 5 RBI night, and the Dodgers' World Series win by blasting a solo home run in the 8th. Bert Hooton would pitch 5 1/3 innings and get the win. Steve Howe replaced him and earned the save. Winfield's throw typified his struggles in this, his first World Series. At the plate, he went 1 for 22 with 1 RBI. After the series, Steinbrenner issued a public apology to the city of New York for his team's performance, while at the same time assuring the fans that plans to put the team together for 1982 would begin immediately. The Yankee owner was criticized by players and press alike for doing so, as many people felt losing a World Series was not something for which a team needed to apologize.